Hello fishing friends, this is Matthew with Fishing 13 bringing you another fishing reel service and repair video. Today I have a Millionaire 5H 2-ball bearing high-speed fishing reel. These are very similar to Abu Garcia Ambassador reels. They're high quality, very nice reels, very serviceable. They can be used for bass fishing. I like to use mine for salmon fishing and trolling for trout or for walleye. And I bought this off of eBay. When I got it, I could tell that it was cleaned on the outside to look nice, but it was the gears on the inside were stiff, and so I know that it hasn't been serviced for many years. So I'm going to show you how to service it, take it apart, put it back together, and what parts you need to oil. Let's get started. Thanks. So these Daiwa Millionaires are made in Japan. They're a very nice reel. This one, I got it for a good price on eBay, mainly probably because it has all this boat rash on it. Have little spots of corrosion down here where it pitted away at the ends on the reel here. Other than that, the reel is in serviceable condition. We'll take it apart and get it cleaned up and running it nice and smooth. For tools, you're going to need like a screwdriver, maybe a small Phillips screwdriver, a small straight screwdriver, maybe a pair of pliers, a pair of needle nose. You're going to need some reel oil and some reel grease. You'll need some things to clean it up with. You could use like carburetor cleaner. That's one option. I also like to use WD-40 primarily as a solvent for cleaning the grease because it's going to be easy on any plastic parts as well. So the first thing we want to do on these particular reels is take off the handle so we can get to this end cap here that has all the gears in it. We'll take off this end cap here that has some gears in it and the parts to remove the level wind. To remove this handle, you have to remove this screw for this keeper for the handle nut. Now, if the handle nut ever falls off, they put this screw on here to keep the handle from falling all the way off. You got this little spring here. It goes down like this, okay? When you get this off, the handle off, you take this off by just the drag like so. Okay. And then we're ready to take off the end cap. So we just want to, okay, let's wiggle this off carefully. All right. It's kind of dirty on the inside here. Then we want to carefully remove these little brakes. Set them aside in a spot where they're not going to get lost. And then you can take out the spool. Okay, there we go. Then we can turn our attention to the other side here. It has 3 screws. Okay. we'll take this off because we want to clean this. So this has a little mechanism where you just slide this off and then slide it out right there. And then what we want to do is we want to take the cap off here, and then there's a little pawl on the inside that's your level wind pawl. You take that out, and then you can just remove the level wind. Okay, and then this also comes out right here like this. Okay, we'll get this all cleaned up. This is kept on with an E-clip. We need to remove that E-clip and take this little plastic gear off so we can clean the shaft and lubricate it with some new oil. So take that little keeper clip off of there. Be careful and don't lose it. Okay, it's kind of dirty. We'll get it all cleaned up. We want to take this cover off here. Okay, there's some spacers on the inside and the bearing that's on the inside here, along with a spacer, a little brass spacer. We'll get that all cleaned up. All right, let's turn our attention now to probably the most complicated part of this reel, and that's this main gear cap here. So we want to remove these two screws. And then this will come off here. Okay. We'll take off the end cap here. It has some washers in it, or spacers. Has a cap there that doesn't have a hole in it. And we just need to take and push out this bearing right here and that little cap. Okay. Everything looks like in good shape. We'll go ahead and service those bearings by just oiling them. And we can set this aside. We'll wipe this all out. All right. So I can see that there's a little bit of corrosion rust on here. This has not been lubricated for probably forever. But we'll make sure that it gets taken care of. But everything seems to be working. The caulking mechanism. Appears to be working correctly. Take this anti-reverse pawl. Look how dirty the grease is. Now, on this particular reel, there are things that you can take apart, but it's not necessarily that you do it. But you could take out, there's little clips here. You could take these all apart here. You could take off these springs, and there's some more clips that you could take apart. On the bottom of this main shaft here, there's a little tiny copper washer. I'm going to remove that. For this particular service video, I don't want to take this whole mechanism apart. But what I do need to do is I do want to clean it up and lubricate it. I want to put some WD-40 that will help protect that corrosion. I'll brush it off with a old toothbrush and basically get it cleaned and lubricated. Okay, so I'm just going to set that aside for now. Let's turn our attention to the main gear here that has our drag washers in it. So it has a washer here. That's a brass washer. Has this heavy duty spring here. Okay. Next it has another washer, another brass washer. Then it has a steel drag washer. And then it has a fiber drag washer here. Let's put them in order. And then this comes off here. And on the back side has a washer of, looks like it's identical size, and a bunch of grease that's needs to be cleaned up. So that one's a little bit thicker, so we'll make sure the thicker one goes back on here first. Anyways, I'm going to stop here and going to clean all this up, and then we'll have it ready to go back together. Oh, wait a second. I wasn't paying attention. There are actually, we have a steel drag washer, a plastic drag washer, and another steel drag washer. Okay, this is a slotted drag washer. Let's put them again in order. And then it also has another fiber washer here. Okay. So that's all in order. So we got one that goes on the bottom is a thick one, and then we got a fiber washer, steel drag washer that's made to go. It's not slotted, but it's got the flats on it, and then a plastic, or probably I'd say a Teflon drag washer, a slotted drag washer, or a fiber drag washer, and another drag washer with flats on it. Okay. All right, I'm going to stop here and work on getting everything cleaned up, and then we'll put it back together in reverse order. Okay, I got all my parts cleaned up and put back in little groups where I can put them all back together again. So I think I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this this piece here. I cleaned it up. I got some of the rust off. I did that with WD-40 and got it all wiped down and blown out. And we're going to go ahead and put it back together. Now there's some things on this part right here that need to be oiled, and some parts that need to be greased. The first thing we need to do is put this little gear back in, and I feel like it needs to be gone back in with some grease. So I'll take some of this pen grease, get my little brush, and what we're going to do is just get a little bit, we're going to brush it right into this little plastic little saddle here that holds this little gear in place. I want to make sure it has some grease in there. Okay, what we want to do is caulk it and then slip this little piece in there. Just like that. Okay. And then we'll release it. Okay. We'll grease this little pin right here that the anti-reverse pawl goes on. Put the anti-reverse pawl back on. Okay. And we need to oil up a couple places where things slide. So oil up, put a little drop of oil here and a little drop of oil there. Want to put some oil underneath here where things rub up against each other. Okay. I want to grease these, when you caulk it, there's these little ramps right here. I want to grease those little ramps. Like so. Each time you caulk it, those ramps push up that little saddle there that holds that little gear. Okay. Then there's things pivot right here. We want to put a little bit, just a drop of oil. It doesn't need a lot. And then where these things slide right here, I want to make sure I oil them up. And it's feeling smoother already. Okay. All right, let's concentrate on putting this shaft back together. So we have this little washer right here. And I want to put a little bit of grease on it. Okay, smear it on there with my fingers. Put that on. This is the caulking mechanism right here. And a little bit of just a touch of grease on here. That was too much. Okay. And then this is the anti-reverse right here. And I want to put a little bit of grease on it too. All right. So we have a drag washer that goes on there. And then this goes on here, this gear. And then as we put these drag washers back together, a little bit of grease should go in between each one. Okay. And here's the washer with the flat sides. And then this Teflon washer. And then this slotted drag washer goes right there in those slots. The fiber washer. This flat side washer. And then this brass pressure washer. Then the spring. I think the spring I'm just going to take and put some oil on it. And I think I'll take and put a very thin layer of grease around the outside. One of the things I noticed about this reel is it did not have a lot of oil on it where it would protect it from corrosion. We'll put this on there. Okay. Now we'll slide this on. You need to get that small gear and this gear lined up, and then this anti-reverse pawl slides onto there, like so. Okay. All right, now we're ready to put the cap back on. So let's take and put, let's set this aside here, and we'll put, I've got these bearings. I put some oil in them and serviced them by putting oil in them. So we'll put a bearing in. Then we have this cap. I'm going to put some oil, more oil on there, and oil inside the cap. Put that on there. Okay, and then this cap washer goes on. Not washer, but the cap screw. We don't want to tighten it all the way. We'll tighten it when we get ready to go. Wipe some things down. Okay. And we'll put this on. Make sure we're putting this on right. Yep. We got a couple screws to hold this on. There'll be these big flat slotted screws. Let's loosen that up a little bit. This other side on. Okay. All right. All right, so we have that, put it back together, and we'll go ahead and we'll put the handle on. We're going to put that fell off. We need to put that back on, and then we'll put this. Let's focus on the other side. All right, so we need to put just a drop of oil on here. And put this little clip on. Okay, let's clip back on. Put the bearing in. Put this spacer piece in. And put the cap back on. We'll screw it all the way on, then we'll back it off. So let's go ahead and back it out. So now let's work on the frame here and put our level wind back together. So we want to put this in here. Okay. And then we want to take and oil this. One of the things I noticed about this level wind pawl is it was actually rusty. So I used some 400 grit sandpaper to clean it up. So we'll just put that in there for the time being, and we'll screw it on there. So what we want to do is this part needs to go down. So we'll put this in here and then mate it up right there like so. We're going to have to put that pawl in later. So we'll put this in here. Put the level wind in the slot. So then turn that so that that's facing down. All right, now we can put this pawl in there, and we want some oil in here too. And you want to turn this level wind until this little thing seats itself in there. And you can put the cap on. Now, these caps have a little hole in there, and occasionally you should take and put some oil in there and let it soak in upside down like that. All right, there we go. Oops. Okay. Then we use this little piece right here, like so. And then we want to make sure that the seat all the way in there. So that, and then actually this piece goes in there first, like so. And then it slides over and locks into place. There we go. Okay, now it's working well. Okay, and we can then put this end cap on. Put the screws in. I'm going to oil these gears just a little bit. Okay, these little casting brakes go on there. I have a whole bunch of new ones of those, but these are still in good shape. Alright, this can go back on now. Make sure that this is wiped down. Okay, now we can put this all the way back. So I'm going to take and try putting the handle on here for a second. Just hold that in place so I can get this drag spur on there all the way. There we go. Okay, we need this. We need to put this on here. We can put the handle on. Put this screw on right here. And we can put the nut on. Put the keeper on. Line it up. Put a little screw in. I'll have to get some line on there to test the drag, but I can stop the spool with my thumb and try it out. It's working well. I'll have to adjust this for casting at another time, but that feels way, way better. This is the Millionaire 5H. Thanks for sticking with me, guys, and watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you press that subscribe button and you'll get notifications every time I go do a fishing trip or do another reel service and repair video. I have over 85 reel service and repair videos. Mostly on Zebco reels, but I do have some Abu Garcias and some other Daiwa reels, Daiwa spin cast reels. But I really like this. It's a well-built reel. It's built in Japan. It's from the 1970s or early 1980s, and although it's been well used and it's got some boat rash on it here from laying down and a little bit of corrosion, is still a good functional reel that will last for years to come. So thanks for hanging out there with me. Hope you enjoyed the video and have a great day.